Thank you for joining us. My name is Mary Cott, and I want to welcome all of you to another Strength of Community chat. We host these chats each month from the Front Porch office with hopes to inform and inspire and connect with each other. Today, we are celebrating volunteerism at Front Porch. I've told you my name is Mary Cott and I work in volunteer services. I love what I do because I believe that volunteerism is a connective fiber of community. And it brings people together. It helps build relationships, which lead to creative collaborations. And I also believe that each person has something unique to offer. There are endless opportunities, and small and large, to connect with others through service. So we have for you a slideshow that I want to share, and it's going to be quick. I promise it's going to be great. You're going to love it. But this is just something I pulled off of Facebook that doesn't highlight absolutely everything. It just highlights the things I had photos of on all of your communities. So I'm going from north to south. We have partnerships all over our communities, from outside partnerships that have come in, and all of these photos are during the pandemic. So these are current this year photos, to things that have kept our residents busy, volunteering, giving back.
Sure, you can see that. No, I'm fine.
And then Vista del Monte is in Santa Barbara, and they have community partners as well, the Girl Scouts and the local schools. And their residents really kicked it up and designated a resident friendship garden and developed their Caring Companions program. And even their staff members got in the act. We've always done that. We support a lot of causes on our communities. Pasadena has always had a relationship with USC that's pretty tremendous. It brings a lot of volunteers to their community, and they also support local 501c3 charities. And Lisa is here today. She's been teaching origami on Zoom. Yeah, Kingsley Manor. I just need to move in there so that I can meet Miley the Sheltie. But we have all kinds of volunteers in Hollywood too. Claremont Manor, you are known for reaching out into your community. Your volunteers are always active, doing things for others. And the community supports you as well. Lots of masks going around this year. Walnut Village is in Anaheim, and they work hard. All of our communities work hard to support their staff members with scholarships through their foundation, and also support local charities and other things like Alzheimer's Association. Carlsbad by the Sea, they've really got a gardening kit going on. They've got a Monarch Way Station, a community garden group that's just started, and they've built this beautiful undersea succulent garden. It's not actually under the sea, it looks like it is, but it's amazing, and it's a volunteer effort. They brought in their community, the New Village Arts Center. They spend their time in the pandemic lockdown, creating art walks and serving the outside community and entertaining each other and teaching each other. It was amazing. Casa de Mañana has a lot of things going on where volunteerism builds community. And Wesley Palms has a lot of opportunities too. And Frederica Manor, they build community all over the place with their resident club. So if you want to see any of these things or all of these things, please, I encourage you to check out Facebook, our Facebook pages where all of this is. So we will turn our attention to Keith. Keith is my co-host. Thank you for joining us, Keith.
Oh, the pleasure is mine, Mary.
So Keith is a committed volunteer, you may or may not know, in an area of service that is both dangerous and vital. So Keith, can you please tell us what your role is at Front Porch and share your volunteer story with us?
I'd be happy to, Mary. I am a foundation executive for Front Porch Communities Foundation, which supports the Front Porch communities and will at one point support the Covia communities as well. Most of the folks that I see dialing in from Villa today would know me as the president of FACT Foundation prior to FACT merging. My volunteer work, while I've worked with many disparate organizations, Southern California, Special Olympics, the Ronald McDonald House Charities, Lion Sight and Hearing Foundation. My real passion is around winter mountain rescue. I have just finished my 28th season as a ski patroller with the National Ski Patrol System at Mount Baldy here in Southern California, just a few miles from my home. While I enjoy my time as a field patroller, picking up folks and transporting them, patching them up and sending them off, I spend actually more hours each year working in the avalanche field, principally in education. So I've been an avalanche instructor with the National Ski Patrol System for 22 years. I currently serve as the Far West Division supervisor. So I supervise and administer avalanche education programs in California, Nevada, and in Arizona.
Well, what brought you to that, Keith?
Well, I love skiing. I've been a skier really since my teens, but I became principally interested in avalanche after losing a climbing and skiing partner on Mount Hood in an avalanche, in a solo avalanche in the 90s. So that has impacted what I do. I also serve as the vice president and a board member of our local avalanche center, which you can find at socalsnow.org.
Well, thank you, Keith. Thank you for doing that good work. That's such important work. Well, now it's time to turn our attention to our featured guests. So Kay has made it to the call.
Yeah, no small feat.
Yes, we're going to make Kay first. So Kay, let me tell you a little bit about her, has years of volunteer experience in leadership at Claremont Manor and Front Porch. She collaborates with residents and staff to support volunteerism, which in turn supports the efforts of their life enrichment team. So Marty, her counterpart this year, is a new resident who moved in just before the pandemic, and they're a team as this year's Claremont Manor Resident Club President and Vice President. So Kay, congratulations.
Thank you.
As club president, you bring folks together to connect with others and a variety of opportunities at Claremont Manor. Pre-pandemic, the new resident table in your dining room was a great place to start. So please tell us about yourself and how the new resident table engaged volunteers and new residents and its impact on community life.
Well, the new resident welcoming table is in the center of our dining room. And as such, it was a perfect place to focus on new residents because everyone in the dining room could see them. And residents could also see everyone in the dining room. So it was a great way to bring them into the community for one meal a day, dinner, Monday through Friday. We have 25 approximately volunteers who are residents who host the table, and you get a week and you are there for the week and you spend that week making sure that those residents are comfortable and have been oriented to what's going on. You answer their questions, you tell them how to get places. There's all kinds of things that go on at the table in a normal conversation. The volunteers are really key to this, and we find that the volunteers enjoy it almost more than the residents do because they're meeting new people and they're also kind of explaining how they've lived at the manor for X number of years and found their community at the Claremont Manor. The concept is not just to welcome new residents, but to make them feel more comfortable. We're all new sometime. We're either new, we're in kindergarten, we're a freshman in college, or we're starting out in a new senior community. And being new in a community is very hard sometimes. But new beginnings can also be very rewarding, and they will result in new friendships, which they always do. Getting to know people and getting to know someone and feeling comfortable in the dining room is just the beginning to your feeling comfortable in the community. In the absence of the welcoming table, which of course has been gone since last March, we're starting to try to figure out how to compensate because we don't know when that's going to come back. Our first VP, who is Marty Garlett, who is also a new resident, for 1 whole year now. We'll be working with marketing and me and the other board members to communicate with new residents in a better way. We really have to kind of restructure this and pretend we have a table, but find out how to make this work in a better way to make them feel more a part of the community. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Marty to give us an idea of what she's going to do.
So
Excellent.
before I came to Claremont Manor, I was a university dean. And so I have some experience with managing things. And I certainly want to help our residents get comfortable with where they are, with how they're greeted. And if I had my druthers, if I could solve all the issues in the world, I would like to have every resident engaged in something, whether it's the knitting group, whether it's, just think of, I've heard that we take field trips. I never have taken a field trip. But I've heard that we do. And so, we need people who can organize all of these things. And by the way, we buy the yarn for our knitting group. So that's part of what our resident association does. And so we need so much help in so many different areas. And I really just hope that we can get new residents involved quickly and in a timely way so that they can just enjoy where they're living, enjoy being part of a community, and all of the other things that come with being a part of a community.
Well, I can't wait to move in, Marty. Thank you.
Marty, how soon did you begin volunteering at Claremont Manor after moving into the community?
It was within a week.
You set a rather high bar for new residents.
So maybe I won't make them all do that, but it was very quick. The president, who was then the president of our resident association, immediately captured my arm and pulled me into doing things. So that's how it started for me.
I think we recorded that moment when she said, "Oh, I need to call you and we need to talk." I think that happened here on Strength of Community. So everybody beware, everybody beware.
Joe Fulton has her hand up.
Yes, I wanted to say, Marty, you were barely moved in when I was having a drive for books, and you gave me the most wonderful books for first grade and young children in the Pomona School District as a part of my Lions Club work. And it was so much appreciated, but she stepped right in immediately, and it's much appreciated, Marty. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So I was really happy to do that too. I had a collection of children's literature that needed to go somewhere. So I'm glad Joe made good use of it.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Oh, I may be calling Joe too, but you know what, Joe, it's good to see you on this call. And you are a wonderful part. I've heard a lot of things about the things that you do for Lions Club, and thank you for your service in your community at Claremont and about.
Well, and I will thank Joe for her years of service to Pacific Homes Foundation and going forward with Front Porch Communities Foundation. She's been critical in helping us to build and fund programs that benefit residents and staff at Claremont Manor.
And by the way, I've only had one meal at the new resident table. One, only one.
That is great. Well, Keith, what's next?
Well,
you, ladies.
Thank you, Kay and Marty. Let's turn to Pat. Pat, I know I'm going to ask you to tell folks where you live and how long you've lived there, but I'm probably tipping your hand a little bit when I ask you to tell us about Camp Villa, a rather unique partnership of staff and residents at your community. Tell us about that program.
Thank you, Keith. I've been at Villa Gardens for 16 years and immediately jumped into the tutoring program with our local school, which has been going on forever, as far as I know, at Villa Gardens. And we decided that the children they're from disadvantaged homes. They have very few facilities. So we started Camp Villa, and they come to Villa Gardens 2 days a week for a month. And we have sessions. We don't call them classes because they're not reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we had 1 million volunteers. Of course, Villa Gardens is known for all of the teachers and professors and scientists that we have. So we had a wide variety of sessions for the kids, from Egyptian literature, Egyptian pyramids, to astronomy, to microscopes, to botany, to all of the arts, music, dance, everything. And the children just loved it. And the adults loved doing it. We had more volunteers than we could use. We gave them breakfast and lunch, and we took field trips. We went to Eaton Canyon, and the ranger took them around with residents who were members of the Sierra Club, went with them. And the residents here loved the children, and who have a high respect for older people and love older people. They miss their grandparents, they miss their aunts and uncles. So when they came, they were so excited. They'd wave and they'd smile, and the residents would line up practically when we got off the bus just to say hello to the children. And it was a wonderful experience for everyone. And we had sessions in the morning and then lunch. And then in the afternoon, from the Pasadena Rose Bowl, came and taught the children how to swim. And while half of them were swimming, the other half was playing golf or ping pong or structured physical activities. And the children didn't want to go home. You know, they wanted to come every day. But let me stand up so you can see the t-shirts. Can you see it? Villa Gardens. And the foundation arranged for each child to have a t-shirt and a backpack, and the adults had t-shirts. So we were all just one big happy family. I've got to tell just one story about one resident who was Chinese, did not speak very much English. And he said he didn't want to have a class because he couldn't handle it. But he met the bus every day and said goodbye to them every day in Chinese, and was teaching the children just a few words in Chinese. And another highlight was we had the medieval singers, and they brought medieval instruments and sang songs and wore the costumes, and the children were absolutely fascinated.
It really was the residents and the staff that made that program happen. We
Yeah.
may have, the foundation may have paid for some items and
Well, we appreciated
subsidized
it.
some cost, but it was the energy, the enthusiasm, the time, and the effort that residents and staff invested in that made it happen. Pat, can you tell folks, do you recall approximately how many kids you would have on a given day from Jefferson Elementary?
We limited it to 20. And they had to have finished 3rd grade. And we also included children of staff members here at Villa. If they grade, we added them to the group so that they felt part of it. But we divided them in half so that each session would have like 10 children. So they had individual attention, shall we say.
Very nice. So Pat, can you remind us where you are? Where's Villa Garden?
Oh, we're in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And of course, that's why we're lucky, because we have access to JPL, to the Carnegie Institute, to Oxy, to USC, and we have multiple volunteers.
Yes, very long-standing relationships. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sensing a theme here when we talk about volunteerism. There's a lot of collaboration. There's a lot of welcoming and inviting. There's a lot of outreach. There's a lot of partnering with our foundations. It really does take all of us. And again, there's so many parts and pieces, so many little jobs, big jobs, kind of like the movies, no small parts, only a small actors, something like that. But every part is important, definitely is important. Well, thank you so much. Well, speaking of collaborations and new friends and relationships, it is my pleasure today to introduce to you our new colleagues from Covia's Community Service Group. So we have some Covia residents on the line on this chat today, and most of us know, but I'll remind us because we all need those reminders, that Covia is our new Front Porch affiliate as of April 1st, 2021. Both of us come to this affiliation with some unique contributions to benefit all of our residents. That's what's so exciting about sharing this today. So welcome, Amber and Annette. I'm so glad you're joining us.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thanks everyone for being here. I'm going to get started. I'm just so happy that we're together. This is the first Covia Front Porch venture. I see there's a lot of folks from Covia on the line, a lot of folks from Front Porch. So this is fun, and it feels like we're real now, and this is a real live thing. So my name is Amber Carroll, as Mary said, and I'm the senior director of our connection programs, which actually encompasses 3 programs, and that's Well Connected Espanol, and Social Call. And we're going to kind of focus on Social Call, but I can see some of my colleagues in community service are on this call, and I know their brains are just clicking away listening to all this experience and all this volunteerism that you do within Front Porch. I really liked the way Pat talked about, and we've heard this from everyone, there's so many volunteer opportunities in the world, and there's all kinds of research now looking at the positive benefits of what volunteering does for our social, emotional, physical health. And what you're really speaking to, Pat, when you were talking, like this value that you get from volunteering, it's not just about giving back to someone else. It's this real mutual benefit. So the kids are benefiting and the residents are benefiting, and everything is very reciprocal. And that's so the core of all of our community services. So I'm just going to tell you really quickly what the Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol programs are. And I'm going to just mention Social Call as well. Hopefully we'll do more of these groups to introduce you to all the other cool programs that we do. And then I'll turn it over to Annette, who actually organizes all of our volunteers on Well Connected. And I also see Lizette Suarez, who's our director of the Espanol program, is also on. So I know she's taking notes as well, if any of you are Spanish speakers. But Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol are virtual activity programs for older adults living anywhere throughout the United States. And what's really interesting is we didn't launch this program in response to the pandemic. We've actually been doing it since 2004. So what started as a telephone only program, so folks can just call in and join into any number of topics. You mentioned, Pat, or actually I think Kay, you mentioned a knitting group. We have a knitting and crocheting group on both Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol. We have hundreds of groups going on every single day, 365 days a year, that people around the country can simply make a phone call or log in on their computer like we're doing right now to join into a group conversation. We have classes, we have support groups, we have games, we have chat, you name it, we've got it. These are free to individual participants. And the really cool thing, which is why I'm so excited to be talking to residents, is about 75% of everything we do on Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol is borne by the community of participants. So we're really leveraging participants to bring their own passions and skills to the table to share that with other people. And as far as volunteer opportunities go, it can't really get any easier because you can schedule it at a time that's convenient for you. You can do it from home, you can do it on the phone. So, so not even really, you don't need a lot of technology skills or devices either. And then I just want to quickly mention Social Call, which is our sister program. And Social Call matches an individual to an individual. So it's for a weekly half-hour friendly phone chat with somebody. This is also a virtual program. So we're connecting people across the country really based on important stuff like personalities and values and common interests and things like that. So so those are our connection programs. We are really looking forward to having all of you join us as participants, joining us as volunteer facilitators if you're interested in doing that. And I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Annette Balter, who is responsible for all the amazingness that you see on Well Connected.
Thanks, Amber, and thanks, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. It is really exciting for us at Covea, now Front Porch. So really thrilled to be with you guys. I can see that you've already got a culture of volunteering, so it's going to be a great fit. If, as Amber said, what would be your ideal volunteer experience? I know that there are lots of things that you can do. You can garden, you can help with the lines. You already do all of this stuff. But your ideal volunteer experience, I'm sure you're looking for fun. Maybe you're looking for something that's purposeful. If you're looking for something that's socially engaging, and if you can do it from home in your pajamas, that's great too. And the scheduling is totally flexible, as Amber mentioned. She also mentioned that most of our groups, the bulk of our groups, are led by trained peer volunteers. So this is a place where you can connect with others across the country and just meet really interesting people. What would you expect if you wanted to jump into volunteering right away, like Monte is ready to do? I know. We do have a little bit of a short screening. I have a conversation with you about what you might be interested in doing with us. I do provide training and ongoing support. What do we look for in volunteers? Really, if you enjoy people, I mean, that's sort of the number one thing. If you enjoy groups of people, if you enjoy others, if you have some experience leading groups, then you're ideal. Like you folks in Pasadena, we have a lot of retired teachers who love facilitating groups, and they're really good at it. They're already like, they come pre-trained, honestly. So yeah, you folks in Pasadena, come on down. Or if you just have a passion for something or something that you want to share with others, maybe you do want to save the monarch butterflies and you want to, you want to have an ongoing group of people that works with you on that goal. We can help facilitate that. So if you have a group of people that you naturally want to just bring together to fight climate change or clean up, the world or save the butterflies, you can engage with others to bring them on for your cause. We do have hundreds of groups weekly, from the light to the heavy. You can play word games, you can meditate, you can talk about death. Really, it's all up for grabs. Like I said, there's something for everyone, from the light to the heavy. So whether you want to just participate with us, we welcome you to join us. And after you've done a week of that, Monte, you can then talk to me about leading your own group. So yeah, just call us. We're here for you. You can call us to get involved, get more information, or sign up and just try it out.
So I may have missed this, Annette. Where do I go if I want to learn more if I'm online?
So if you're online, you can go to our website, and Amber's going to type that in really fast while I'm talking.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's covea.org. I think it's one of those, it's a slash and then well connected. She's going to put it in the chat. We haven't switched over all of our website stuff yet, so we're still covea.org. But yeah, Well Connected is there on our website. There's also a link to Well Connected Espanol from the English site. We've got a separate site for Spanish as well. Everything we do in English, we've got a sister set of programming in Espanol. And yeah, or you can just call us. We have staff available every day of the week, Monday through Friday, regular business time on Pacific time, and it's 877-797-7299.
And that will go in the chat too, correct, Amber?
Yeah, and you can talk to lovely Emma. She will sign you up for the program or just answer any questions you might have. If you want to dip into if you want to just talk to me directly, well, you can call the office and she'll send me a note and I'll call you back. But yeah, we're always looking for volunteers who, just like I said, if you just have a passion for something, or if you want to engage people in a cause, or if you just like talking to people across the country and want to be socially engaged, we know that social engagement is like a key linchpin of well-being. So the more connections you make and have, the better off we will all be. Thank you for your
Annette,
time. Yeah,
thank you. Sounds like a fabulous program. Tell me, how tech savvy does one have to be to volunteer or
you
or
don't at all.
participate?
Well, you can be as tech savvy as using your telephone that's connected to your wall, or you can be as tech savvy as you all are today on your Zoom group. If you can do Zoom, you can do Well Connected online. So our programming is accessible for however you want to do it. But the basic is, a lot of our content is audio, honestly. So if it's a chat group, you don't have to be online. You can do that by phone, and we welcome people by phone and always will. About 50% of our participants are using their phones.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Well,
May I make a quick?
yes.
Oh, sorry. No, I just also wanted to point out that, everything we do on Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol is really accessible to all too. So we have a lot of low vision and blind participants. Our materials are available in large print and audio versions and Braille as well. So we would love to have you guys. And I also just wanted to say that if any individual community with Front Porch is interested in doing a presentation or linking that to one of the groups or something like that, we'd be more than happy to do that. So you can reach us. I'll put our email address in the chat as well.
Thank you so much. I want to go forward with this just to let everybody know a couple of things that I've experienced with Well Connected. Number one, you need to hear the story more than once because there's so much beauty to this program. Number two, we're recording this. So as soon as it's available, we want to be able to share it with you, encourage your life enrichment director to show this strength of community presentation so that you can start to understand how to engage with Well Connected. And also, your life enrichment director already knows, chances are great, knows and has been introduced to Well Connected. So it's in our future and it's very exciting. The last thing I want you to know about Well Connected that I love the very most is that it's similar to Zoom, except that it's got fewer buttons that are very focused on our needs for the conversation. And it's like, this is black, but it's white. And I met Amber and Annette on their Well Connected platform. And it was so wonderful and relaxing just to be virtual with them. So I'm really excited for this opportunity. I just want you all to know that it's time to get involved with Well Connected. So thank you for joining us. Does anybody have questions for any of our featured guests today?
Well, let me raise a question was raised in the chat, Mary, and I'll
Yes.
direct it to Amber. How is Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol funded? And can one make individual donations?
Yes, you can. We graciously accept individual donations. Covia and all of its different name iterations have been around for over 50 years and has really generously supported all of our community service programs. As the programs grow, as we mentioned, these have a national footprint, so they get more expensive as they get bigger. We also go after grant funding. We have some government dollars for some of our programs, and other foundation funding. And then yes, we do absolutely love to get donations in the mail as well, and that can be done directly on the Covia website.
Wonderful.
So you're in all 50 states, are you not?
We're in 49. We haven't gotten South Dakota yet, but I actually met somebody at the ASA meeting yesterday from South Dakota. So I'm gonna get on her to refer a few people.
It's really exciting to think about all the possibilities Well Connected brings to us.
It seems like an amazing outreach outside the walls of the Covia communities. Did you see any significant or surprising changes in pattern of use or during the pandemic?
Definitely. A couple of things happened during the pandemic. And one, our connection programs overall probably grew by about 85% over the last year. So one of the struggles we always had was to explain virtual programming to people. Everyone would say, why do we need virtual programming? We do live programming. The last year has certainly made everybody understand the value of virtual programming. So there was a lot of increased interest because of the pandemic, and that was in both participation and volunteerism. Annette and Lizette had never had more busy jobs than this last year because there was such a huge influx of people wanting to connect and engage with each other. And that's a piece that, as we talk about volunteerism, if you think about all those opportunities, why would people want to be a friendly visitor? Why would somebody want to be a facilitator on Well Connected? It's because those people are wanting engagement. We're all seeking engagement. So we got a lot of extra groups going on during the pandemic. Annette, Lizette, maybe you can talk to the increase in volunteerism that was just crazy pants over the last year.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, social isolation is a thing, and we were talking about that before the pandemic, right? But all of a sudden, post-pandemic, everyone's talking about social isolation for people of all ages, and how detrimental it is to human beings. We're social animals, right? And we need to be with other people. And if you can't be with them physically, and we've been saying this since day one, of course, you don't have to be physically together at Well Connected. We can be socially together. We can be socially connected, even if we're physically apart. So it was kind of a natural fit for us. We were in a place that just happened to be doing something that, that people found us really quite easily and needed that service. And we're really grateful for it. So, and then also we had another interesting dynamic, and that was we developed a bunch of partnerships with university students. All of a sudden, nursing students and counseling students and social work students didn't have internship opportunities in person anymore with older adults. And so a couple of those found us, and we were able to put a bunch of social work students, nursing students, and counseling students onto the platform to hone their skills, not in a clinical environment, but to be able to, practice what they've been learning in school and work with groups on all kinds of things. And we had a bunch of people, especially the counseling students, who were really, really helpful in just being able to talk to people across the country about dealing with stress during a pandemic, which we had a lot of stress and anxiety. So we were able to, put those two groups together, and it worked out really beautifully.
So volunteers answered the call. Did your donors also answer the call at similar scale?
Yes and no. We have a really wonderful funder in San Francisco, MetaFund, that helped support us during the pandemic in a really generous way to just say, can you do something with some extra money right now? And so one of the things we used that money for was to help with some technology efficiencies to really ease the way we do business so that we could accommodate so many more people into the program. And then there have been a lot of opportunities throughout the pandemic to support programs like ours. And we're certainly always looking at those opportunities as well.
I just wanted to say that I signed up with Well Connected, and it's just a wealth of information and knowledge there.
We're really happy to have you, Ellen. Thanks so much for signing up.
There's a question in the chat that I want to make sure I'm understanding right. It says, could you open up all topics to groups and not just individuals within COVIA communities? If you ask that question, please unmute yourself. I think what you're asking is this is nationwide, so it's actually for people beyond Front Porch and COVIA. And participation, right? Your volunteers can be from within COVIA and Front Porch, but also nationwide.
Yeah, everything. I think I know who that is, and that's That's Annie from, I believe, Webster House. That's a Covia community. And I think what she's talking about is some of our lifelong learning opportunities on Well Connected and Well Connected Espanol. We have some lifelong learning series, and those are available to housing communities to use as a group activity. So I always talk about this one just because it's my personal favorite. It's a group called Museums at Home. And both Annette and Lizette have partnered with museums all around the country. This is a program available in both English and Spanish to do docent tours on Well Connected. One of my favorite stories is the DeYoung Museum in San Francisco was opening.
Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo, thank you. That exhibit was supposed to open and COVID hit. So the museum was shut down and that exhibit actually premiered on Well Connected, which was really exciting for us. So those are the kind of programs that housing communities can actually tap into and join as a group activity. So, so for Covia residences and for Front Porch residences, all you really need to do is reach out to me to say you're interested in doing that, and we will make it happen. For other communities throughout the country, we actually charge a subscription, and that's another one of our sort of sustainability plans to have other organizations pay for some of those opportunities.
Very nice. Thank you. Well, Bert and Anne Raphael have asked a question that I want to answer myself. So can you send a list of activities at each Front Porch Covia community? I am the new activities chair. Congratulations, Bert or Anne at Sunnyview in Cupertino, and I would like to get ideas from other communities. Funny you should say that, because that is presently my life's work and my year's goal is to work with our resident clubs and associations to help them to connect to each other. So to provide resources for each other that build sustainability between our communities, to include our new friends at Covia in that effort, because for so long, I've been here for 20 years, and for so long, I've known about things that go on here and over there and over here and over there, but you don't know what's going on with your like minds on other communities necessarily. So this technology has allowed us to bridge some of those gaps, but we're going to go a little further this year and see what we can do. In fact, the first thing that we're doing collaboratively is kind of light, simple, and a little bit fun, but it turns a little bit scientific as well, and that is working to help the monarch butterfly late in April. So I hope you'll be looking for your flyers on that, but I will definitely be in touch with your resident associations and groups to see what ways we can collaborate together to just partner and support the work that you are doing. So I'm excited about that. Thank you for that question, Bert. Did I answer your question?
I'd like to see something in writing, if you could just send an attachment to an email that says these are what the different ones are doing. Is somebody doing a sewing circle? Is somebody doing a volunteer with your local high school thing? What kind of programs do you have? And also, I'd like to introduce us to Keith. We were both in the National Ski Patrol for many years. We have now retired, of course. I'm 80, he's 84, and that was a long time ago, but we spent 15 years for me and 25 for Bert on NSPS in Northern California, not Southern.
Oh, fantastic. I hope that you've joined the alumni program.
Sort of. We are not quite ready to deal with skiing in drought conditions like this. I preferred even when I was patrolling not to be skiing on rocks. And this year did not look like a wonderful year.
Well, definitely, Anne, that is exactly what I'm working on. So we'll work on that resource for you.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I saw a question up here. Let's make sure that we've answered it. I know in speaking with Amber that you have residents of your life plan, which would be like our residential communities who volunteer for you and are partners of yours.
We do. We have a couple of volunteers from our communities who, I'm thinking of a couple in particular who, we have an armchair travel series. So this is a little bit like another one of our lifelong learning opportunities where we go on a different trip every week. And we have folks in our communities who are avid travelers pre-pandemic, and they plan to be, they're already ready to go again. And so what that series does is we showcase through a volunteer trip someplace around the world. We've been all over the world, literally, along with our volunteers. So that's an easy way to share content on Well Connected. You bring your pictures along, just like your dad used to do with the old slideshow. Remember, that's what my dad used to do. Every time we went anywhere, we had to have a slideshow afterwards and talk about the whole trip. So that's what you do on Well Connected. You bring your slideshow and tell us your stories. And our residents have been literally all over the globe. So that's a fun one to do.
I know that a lot of volunteers are on this call. In fact, I saw my friends from Frederica Manor who do this amazing thing. And they everything about their activities, everything about their community life is all resident volunteer. I did not mention that, but they're amazing. Everything from welcoming to happy hour to things that you would think that your staff was doing, but they're actually volunteers doing. Is there anybody who would like to dispel myths about volunteering? Is there anybody out there who wants to dispel the myth that you might have heard about volunteering?
I don't know. It's always been such a part of my life, volunteering, that it's just absolutely normal. And I can't understand why people don't volunteer.
I believe people volunteer without knowing they're volunteering. Like I really do. If you really counted the hours you spent helping, it doesn't have to necessarily be that you got the free t-shirt, which is really great when you do. But I think that there's a lot, I believe it's in each of us, and I believe that we need to look around, and I believe that we don't need to pat ourselves on the back so much, but we just do what we do, right, Pat?
That's right. I volunteer at Villamart. I was president of the association for 2 years. I volunteered almost every committee, activities committee, everything.
Yeah.
And I love it because I meet everybody, and I know it. Well, I did know everybody. Now with this quarantine, we have new people that I don't know, but
And how exciting to get
that's
to
a
know
good
all
way
those.
to make friends.
Yes,
To make
definitely.
friends by volunteering. Yeah.
Definitely. I want to just take us all to the ski resort that Keith is working at. We're all volunteers. We all get there. And I'm going to be the one who is standing in the kitchen of the lodge with the hot cocoa. And I'll probably have a couple of partners who have that. So as you go out to the bunny slope, or as you build a snowman, or as you have a snowball fight, or as you go to the highest heights, or as you go peek at what Keith is doing on the avalanche squad, I'll be there with hot cocoa for you. I'll come out, I'll brush the snow off. I will help you build a snowman. I will always be there to tell your story. And I know that my colleagues at Front Porch feel the same. All of our collaborators are here to support the volunteers of Front Porch. So I hope you have a wonderful National Volunteer Week. And it's been so nice to be with you today.